Good evening. Welcome to City of Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals for March 12, 2018. A few housekeeping matters. If you have a cell phone, please place it on vibrate or turn it off. If you wish to speak in favor or opposition for a petition, please come to the podium and state your name and sign in. Tonight's alternative voting member will be Mr. Mark Briere. Moving forward with continued business, we have ZB 2018-5 for a variance. George Theodoro, Esquire, care of the Union Lowell LLC at 585, 591, 605, 609.1, 619, 629, 639 Market Street, 618, 628, 636, 646, 650, 666 Merrimack Street, and 23 Cabot Street. Section 6.1, 6.1.4, 6.1.5.4, 6.1.6.1, 6.1.6.6, 6.1.10, and 6.2.4. The applicant is seeking variance approval at the above-mentioned addresses. The applicant proposes to construct at a 163-unit privately developed and operated dormitory. The proposed project is located in the urban mixed-use zoning district. The project requires variance approval of the zoning board under previous mentioned sections and all other relief required on the Lowell zoning ordinance. Good evening, Councilor.
Good evening, members of the board. Attorney George Theodoro representing the applicant, 133 Market Street. In accordance with my letter that was delivered to the board, the applicant, the Union LLC, is withdrawing its application for variances, and we request that this be withdrawn without prejudice.
Thank you, sir. With that being said, may I have a motion?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZB 2018-5 for variance for the property located at 585 through 666 Merrimack Street and 23 Cabot Street to be withdrawn without prejudice.
May I have a second?
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Roll call, please.
Chairman Perrin,
Approve the withdrawal without prejudice.
Member Peck,
Approve withdrawal.
Member McCarthy,
Approve withdrawal.
Member Briere,
Approval.
Member
I
Jamil.
approve the withdrawal without prejudice.
Council, your petition has been approved for withdrawal without prejudice.
Thank you, Mr. Perrin.
We'll see you in future petitions. Thank you. Moving forward under new business, we have none. Moving forward, other business, we have a discussion first procedure moving forward for 6-month administrative review and conditions. We've been asked through DPD, if Christine, if you could
Yeah,
quick outline and have a
I
discussion.
asked to put it on the agenda because I wanted to get some clarification from the board as to how you want us to present the information and the review, and what you're looking for exactly from the review. Did you want staff to just sort of monitor the project and then give you a report? Did you want us to invite the applicant back? The tricky part with 6-month administrative reviews is we do it from occupancy, so sometimes, special permits are valid for 2 years, so you're not going to see them for 2.5, 3 years. So just trying to get some clarification from what you expect and want from staff would be helpful.
Thank you. I think the most important thing would to have just a tracking mechanism if it was 6 months out to administrative review, perhaps a notice to the board members. My position on petitioners or applicants coming in, I always think it's a good idea if they do come in and present any issues that they may have, and also may give neighbors and citizens an opportunity to discuss the administrative review. That's my thought on it. I'd like to open it up to board for any of their comments or concerns or discussions. Mark? Thank you. And Sean?
I agree, Mr. Chairman. I think actually having the applicants come back, just to get an idea of, because we put these on for administrative review for various reasons, and sometimes getting ideas of to how things are going after the 6 months, getting insight from the applicant and from the public would be helpful in that instance. I agree with you.
Thank you. Dennis?
I agree, but Christine, I've been on the board a number of years now, and we've had, as a condition, a 6-month administrative review on other projects. And so glad you're bringing this to our attention, because I can't recall a 6-month review being brought before the board. And so,
It was one of my first projects. It's on my calendar, so it's what I have it, and I just wasn't sure how you wanted it to be presented back.
I'm so glad you're asking, because I agree that we should have the petitioner come back in front of the board and present. And I think that a report from the planning department about any information that's been received from the city, whether it's police or fire or anybody that's pertaining to the project, Board of Health, would be helpful as well.
Thank you. Dennis? Van?
I'm in agreement with you, Mr. Chairman, and my colleagues. You know, there's only a handful of projects I think we want to do the 6-month administrative review with. So it's very specific reasons or concerns. And like you said, Mr. Chairman, gives us the opportunity to ask some questions, and neighbors or butters to, offer comment as well. So I agree with the board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Van. And Philip?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think partly that's my concern. Then the other concern actually is, Christine, how do we do a follow-up after we approve the conditions? So after the project, do they have to come back, or do we get a memo that all the conditions were followed?
So we keep, obviously, a record of the decisions in the office, and then we also review building permits. So when the petitioner applies for a building permit, that's usually when we will hold up the building permit to confirm all the conditions have been met, or work with the applicant, because some things don't need to be completed until after construction or till occupancy. So we monitor that in the office.
Okay,
And we will hold an occupancy until all conditions are met.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments in relation to the discussion for administrative review?
One quick question to Christine, Mr. Chairman. So if we have the applicant come back, is there another notice that has to be presented to the public in order to have the public be able to come and speak on that?
There's no requirement that they even have to come back. The way the conditions have been written so far is that it's a little gray.
Yeah.
And if sometimes, decisions are sold or, they go with the property, so sometimes the current owner is not the person who came in front of the board. If people are interested, they can let us know, and we can try to remember and contact them when something comes back. But they're not required, unless you make it, explicitly part of the condition at the time.
Maybe try it on a trial basis, just to remind the public, if we do a condition or administrative review, have some notification at that present hearing when we do the condition, at least to tell the public, if anybody's there in some form of opposition or support or whatever, if we make such a condition in the future, to let them know right at the meeting that they have a right to appear at the administrative review in 6 months. I guess that would be probably best way to go about it. And if things don't work out that way, then try to figure out some sort of notification process.
Thank you. Dennis?
Sean, to your point, the administrative review is triggered 6 months after the occupancy permit, right?
Yes, that's how I've
So that's the
calculated.
problem, I think, Sean, that we have with people here at the presentation for the variance or special permit or whatever. The 6-month doesn't get started until the occupancy permit's granted, which could be 6 months or a year after the hearing when they're so it's really I'm not sure if that I'm not sure if we have a good mechanism. I was wondering, in my mind, so what came to mind was early on in my career here, there was a elevator being granted, I think, over at Mill 5. And there was a group of people concerned, residents in the building that were condo owners or apartment people that were worried about how the project would proceed. And so they wanted to, I think we had a condition for a 6-month administrative review on that project. I'm not sure, but I think so. And I don't remember, and I know the elevator's been operating for a few years now, and I don't recall of any information coming back as far as how the residents are getting along with the Mill 5 group, and if there's any concerns. But I was thinking that maybe if there's any concerns that are voiced to your group, planning department, from the neighbors, that they could then be notified of the hearing for the Mill 5 or someone like that to come back before us. So maybe we could make part of the condition that any concerned citizens, if they have any issues, to voice them to the planning department. And they would be then notified of the date of the meeting, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Any other comments, concerns, or recommendations for the administrative review? We're all in agreement with what we discussed, and Christine, you'll put a little narrative together and send it out to the committee?
Yes.
Do we need to read that into record as a standard operating practice? So the public is aware of how we're going to be dealing with administrative
Yeah,
reviews?
I could just write up a small little policy almost.
Yeah. That way they have any future petitioners coming in and applicants coming in, if they are subject to a 6-month administrative review, these are the conditions and criteria, and there won't be any gray area. And we could always refer back to that minutes of the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your staying on top of this as always. The department is running smoothly. That being said, the other item on the agenda is approval for the minutes for 2/12/18. And we'll have an opportunity to review those. Any comments or concerns? May I have a motion for acceptance of the meetings?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval of the meeting minutes from February 12, 2018.
May I have a second, please?
Second?
Roll call.
Chairman Perrin,
Acceptance of the minutes.
Member Peck,
Approve the minutes.
Member McCarthy,
Approve the minutes.
Member Callahan,
Approve the minutes.
Member Briere,
Approval.
Member Jamita.
Approve the minutes.
Thank you very much. And that being said, no other items on the agenda. Any other comments, concerns, or issues from the board? That being said, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
May I have a second?
Second motion.
Meeting is adjourned.